to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light.
And we're back. So I was wondering, why do I have this big jet in my hangar and I don't fly that often? Well, mainly because this is a long-range airplane. Another reason is for what I do with it, I can do it with the 350, which is still my favorite plane. You know, we need to give a chance to the 777. Now this is the PMDG Boeing 777-200LR, so this is the long-range short version of the 777, and it's amazing. It has a few features compared to the normal 200 and 200ER. Of course, the engines are slightly different. We have this beautiful wingtip arrow blade, whatever you want to call it, and of course there's some differences in performance to make it long range, especially fuel tanks. This one in particular doesn't have an extra fuel tank, but there's a configuration where you can include an extra fuel tank or two. So let's just look around the plane before we go in and prepare our flight. First thing you notice is this huge engine. I mean, in the last stream I was talking about how huge the A350 engine is compared to the previous flights in the A320, when I would just come close to the nacelle and was looking down. In these engines, we look up. Now, fun fact, you probably heard this. If not, prepare yourself. Hello, Andrew. That you can fit a 737 cabin inside this engine. So it's this big. The diameter is this big. Yeah. So let's just take a look here at our main left bogie. So just look at the brake system. Look at that. Even the brand is Bridgestone. Pretty cool. They managed to get the branding in. All right. A little dirty, but no leaks detected. Let's look around the plane. Looks fine. And then there's no interaction like we have on the 350 or other planes. PMDG also hasn't made these planes completely FS 2024 feature complete, so interactions with the outside panels is not available, but we can still perform our normal walk around. You can see the size of this bogie. It's just six tires, huge, and this flap is probably the size of your car. This entire flap, it's huge. Let's take a look at engine number 2. Yeah, 777 ender. Not a long flight though, but I need to make these planes fly. Let me just reduce the sound of my cell phone. So I'm not sure if these things are model. They should be panels. No, none of them are model. In fact, these panels are poorly made. Look at that. The outline doesn't match. This is an official paint by a private, well, not a private one. It's Emirates or Saudi Arabian company that rents planes. So we're taking this for Aero Atlantic. The only reason why I don't have an Aero Atlantic Airways livery here is because Aero Atlantic doesn't fly the LR, the 200LR. Hello, Josebo. Good afternoon. So I'm taking this fiction. Well, it's not fictional. This plane does exist, but it's a wet leasing and leasing company, ACMI company that rents planes around the world. And so we're under the pretense that Euro Atlantic Airways just rented this plane, and we want to take it back to Lisbon. So today's flight is going to be Stockholm to Lisbon, and we're just going to finish our external inspection. So all looks good. Plane is not energized, so no lights, nothing. It's completely cold and dark. We're just going to hop in through the service ladder, and we unfortunately don't have that, but we are going to connect the jetway. Here's hoping. So let's use SAS. See if the jetway does operate or not. It doesn't look like it's going to work. Yeah, well, GSX, what can we say? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but let's do a David Copperfield and let's just jump in on board. Wow, magic. Oh, we have Betsy back. Hello, Betsy. Long time no see. You see, the reason why we sometimes have Betsy and sometimes we don't, it's because of the way the developers modeled the planes into Flight Simulator 2024. So by default, all planes in 2024 have the modeled co-pilot. It's just cosmetic. Co-pilot doesn't do anything, but it's cool to have. But some companies, developers like FS Labs or Builds, they don't model the pilot in. I'm sure there could be an option to do that, but I run my planes vanilla. I don't mod them. So that's the reason why we sometimes have Betsy and sometimes we don't. But today we'll have the pleasurable company of Betsy. So say hello to Betsy. She's Leia's sister. Leia is another beautiful woman that I get to know recently. So here we go. Batteries on. This is the part I love about this plane is turning it on. All airplanes, when you turn them on, it's just a sense of magic, like getting ready for an adventure, right? Still no stairs though. Jetway, I mean. So fun fact about this plane, in order to open it, we have this clipboard here. It's not just a clipboard, it's actually preventing the opening of the cabin. Look at that. So now it's unlocked. And now we just old school open it, and we're gonna see perhaps the most useless sticker on this plane. I don't know if you can read that. Maybe if I have turn on the light here. No, the light is not. Oh, there it is. Can you read that? Window not closed. Yeah, one of the most useless stickers there ever been put on a plane. But there's a purpose to that, because if you look back, I mean, if you look back, if you're sitting, let's say you're sitting on the co-pilot seat and you look this way, can you really tell by at a glance the window is closed? For sure. I mean, there are telltale signs, but if you look at it in a glance, maybe the sticker has a good purpose to be here. But yeah, it's cool, and at the same time it makes you wonder. These Americans, they put tags and labels on anything, believing people would just be stupid. This is my point of view. So we lock it, and now we move the clipboard into motion, into position. All right. So we got batteries on, but it's not enough. This plane does not operate solely on batteries. We need to have external power, and currently there is no external power. So here's hoping that I can make this panel to work, because otherwise we'll be kind of stuck. All right, yeah, we can do it through here. So we got chocks in, so air start, air conditioning unit, and ground power. Let's request it, and hopefully now we have external power. And the startup on the 777 is very, very special. Let's see. PMDG A320, Jose. I'm sorry, I don't remember PMDG ever doing an Airbus. I think the only exotic thing they did was an MD-11. When I say, and the DC-6, which has a turbo, not a turbo, a radial propeller, oldie. I don't remember them doing it A320, to be honest. There was a company called PSS, and they did a 320, as well as 757, 757, and 76. No, they did not do the 67, I believe. But I think the first ever really study level at the time was from PSS. I could be wrong, but I don't remember PMDG at all working on that. Oh, Nightbot is active. Thank you, Nightbot. So yeah, startup on the 777 takes a bit longer than you're probably used to, so bear with me. Allow it to move in. I'm gonna try to request GSX again to connect the jetways. See if it works. Ah, now it works. Thanks a lot. I had to make my David Copperfield magic trick to go in. So at least it's moving, connecting at least. So in a moment you'll hear a couple of sounds. Yeah, I programmed Nightbot to do this. It will do in different times, but for some reason it just popped in all at once. I don't know. If it happens again, I need to review it. So what you're hearing now is the system going through all the air ducts, ventilation, air circulation, and cooling. So now the system is turning on the PFD, ND, lower ACAS, and upper ACAS. And now you hear a couple of sounds. Power on self-test. There it is. So when you hear these are the final sounds, when you hear them, it means that the system is booted. So now we're fully ready to start programming the plane. So first of all, let's turn on the ADIRU, which is the same as the Airbus ADIRs. Turn on the window heat. Not exactly essential right now because we're on the ground, but let's start eating up the window. That's pretty much it. Also turn on the utility for the guys back there so that they can have power to the galley and all that. Also, take a good look at our options here. So we're going to turn on logo lights for now. None of these lights, these external lights, will be turned on for now. We're also going to put our seat belts into the on position, and we are now going to operate. Oh, hold on. Oh, Jose, thank you so much for the buy me a coffee help. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You know, everything that you can do to help this channel, either pressing the like button, subscribing, of course, but also buy me a coffee and helping me. This channel is currently not monetized in YouTube, so thank you. Andrew is also a supporter now, Jose, and I thank you both, and as well as Richard, for your support. Anything goes. I mean, not anything goes. That sounded bad. What I mean is any help is appreciated. That's what I meant. Sorry. So let's. Oh my. I think I missed something. What did I miss here? All right. So I'm gonna go through some of the stuff the PMDG menu, the EFB does. So main thing is the electronic flight bag. So this is our flight from today. I just uploaded from Simbrief. Pretty easy. We also have the navigation charts, of course, and we'll go through these as we go through the flight plan, which is very handy here. And then you can also have the performance tool. It's basically for takeoff, landing. So there's two options: landing dispatch and landing en route. This is for a data link, so you can send to data link via data link, and this is of course en route as we approach the airport with more information on board and really calculate the landing distance. The reason why I don't use dispatch is because unfortunately it's not yet compatible with Beyond ATC data links, so there's no point for me to try to go through Hoppy, which is the other network I use. So we might as well just operate with the direct takeoff and landing procedures for this aircraft. So let's go to takeoff for now. Let's leave it here. We also have the manuals, of course. It's not here per se, but you can go to the PMDG document hub and download them, or just consult them online. Weight and balance. This is very important while we are loading the aircraft. We'll do that in a second. And of course, the ground operations, which was the panel I was just at. So when the ground power wasn't connected, I just came here and connected it. Same thing with the air start unit and the air conditioning unit. We can connect the air conditioning for now because I mean, it's cold outside. What's the OAT here? So we got 14 degrees. Not that cold in Stockholm, but it's raining, so it's damp. So let's just turn on the AC unit to dry out the air. We can also connect the air start unit, just in case we require an air start when the engines don't have enough pneumatic power to turn. They won't start, so we request an air start unit. Now notice that you cannot request an air start unit with the air conditioning connected because it's the same duct. So we also can request ground vehicles, but we'll leave that to GSX. Currently there are no vehicles connected, but we can request via GSX, for example, for the jetway bridge to connect. We also have the door management, so currently all doors are closed. For the sake of realism, immersion, we can take a look outside. So the jetway is connected to door. Oh my, I wonder what's wrong with GSX. Keeps missing the doors on the planes. This is serious. I had the same issue with the A350. So there's an issue with the way it detects the doors on the plane. So supposedly this is exit L2. So we'll just open that door. So entry left 2. And as we open it, it will become white. There it is. We can also open and close all doors, but no point in doing that for now. So doors are, that main door is open. We're not gonna go through with the loading via that panel, so we're just opening for the sake of immersion, even though it's offset as you saw it. This is a very interesting panel for PMDG. This is the first attempt to have sort of a ground maintenance. It is called ground maintenance, but the only thing you can do here really is look at the wear and tear on the tires and the contents of the hydraulic fluid and replace them. Now, if you follow channels like I do, I love Stig Aviation. If you follow Stig, you know that the hydraulic fluid is a pain in the rear end to replace, and he has demonstrated that over and over. You need to take this little tug with that hand pump, you need to manually pump hydraulic fluid. So it's cool to see that in real life, but here it's just a gimmick. I mean, if you see that the level is low, you can just press this button and it will instantly load. The same thing with the tires. I mean, look at that. We have the rear right tires are all green and yellow, and the left one have that yellow. So we instead of we address each tire, we can just press this button and it will replace all tires. I mean, yeah, it's you know, same thing with the brakes. Same thing when the brakes are hot, you can just come here and cool the brakes. PMDG 777 actually has an animation for hot brakes, which is cool. Hopefully we won't see that today. We also have the animated ground op. So anything you've seen here from opening doors and all that, you can come here and say turn on the automated thing. You can actually say which phase of the flight you want, if you want to turn around or something like that. I have it off for obvious reasons. I'm using GSX and I don't want it to interfere, because these items here, so stairs, maintenance van, bulk cargo, door, aft cargo, all loaders, so all of these are from PMDG and they do interfere with GSX. So I prefer GSX do that instead of me pressing these buttons. So we'll just call in GSX and tell them to request boarding.
Boarding requested.
There you go. While it's doing that, I don't know if you can hear it, it's pressing my FMS buttons. It's perfectly normal. It does that automatically. But while it's doing that, let's go to our FMC. First of all, we need to confirm our ARAC, so 2509, it's correct. So you can hear there are trucks arriving. That's cool. So contrary to the Airbus, which almost all the times knows what it is, the Boeing also knows what it is, but we just need to insert initial data. So what we do here is either we can enter the GPS position or we can load the reference airport and gate, which is gate, well, there's no gate number here, but I believe it's F30 something, F34 if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, we can just input the gate number right there and get the fixed GPS position. But instead of that, we're just going to use GPS. We go to Scratchpad and load in, and bam, now the system is lining up. Before that, it wasn't. It was just waiting for your inertial input. So now, as for the route, we need to load in Simbrief, the Simbrief route. So how do we do that? We go to Route Request, Simbrief, and as you can see, there's already a preloaded. It's not preloaded. It's on the internet. We just press this one, and we're going to confirm it's ESSA, destination Lisbon, alternate Faro. This is our MMZ 37 X-ray. So this is Euro-Atlantic 37 X-ray. We're just going to load this flight. Oh, and of course, zero fuel weight, reserve fuel, block fuel. There's no zero fuel weight CG, but we can calculate that in a moment. So what do we do next? Instead of just selecting route, we're going to go set payload. So the payload has been loaded to the plane, and set fuel. There probably is a better way to do this with GSX, but I honestly can't find that information. try as I must. So this is what I do. I just load everything in, and then I select a route, and now we just wait for the confirmation. Performance initiation requested. So we're just requesting via a fake data link. So route 1 uplink ready. So notice that none of the zero fuel weight or gross weight are in, but we're going to accept it anyway because it inserted the rest. We also have the descent forecast, that's cool, and the wind data uplink ready. So it does this route 1, of course. It does this in bulk, which is good. And now in order to get our correct zero fuel weight and gross weight, we would need to wait for all the passengers and cargo to be loaded in, but since we already set that via Simbrief, we just press zero fuel weight, sorry about the labels here, and it automatically gives me the zero fuel weight that it's calculated with the current load. And so we just insert here, and automatically it will calculate the gross weight. So yeah, pretty easy to load the plane. No need to wait for the full load. We're going to do that anyway, but we don't really need to wait for the passengers and cargo to load the performance. Now regarding departure, let's go then to our performance tool as expected. We're going to import our flight plan. Hello. Oh, it doesn't pick the runway. All right, we'll get back to it, to importing that. Let's import from our aircraft our weight and CG. Let's import the weather as well. So 135 at 15 knots, temperature 18, QNH. It's in Mercury. What's it called? It's not in Western. Oh my God, I'm missing the term here. So in Europe we use hectopascal. In United States it's inch mercury, something like that. I know the term in Portuguese, but I'm missing the term in English, so I apologize. But yeah, this is the American standard, and it's going to be a bit of a pain in the rear end, to be honest, because now I need to calculate, I need to make conversions here. But so first of all, let's get this this information, and we need to do that via, of course, clearance. So let's go to Beyond ATC, request clearance. We don't have. We can try. We can try to connect via data link. I'm not sure this is going to work, but let's try. So ATC, we're going to request departure. Where is it? Clearance, and we're going to request clearance. Let's see if anything happens. I'm not sure this will work, guys. There is departure clearance. So ESSA to Lisbon. So let's request facility. Let's say it's ESSA. Oh, these labels, these are very nasty labels. ESSA. Oh, we need to listen to ATIS, of course. So let's listen to ATIS and get also the QNH for this airport.
060. Advise on initial contact. You have information Yankee. Alander Airport, information Yankee.
Yankee.
1757 Zulu. Wind 130 at 19er, gusts tree 1. Light rain. Ceiling 800 broken. Temperature 16. Dew point 15. QNH 1003.
1003.
Landing and departing runway 19er right.
So let's go 1003.
Advise on initial contact. You have information Yankee.
Right there. HPA stands for hectopascal, which is how we measure our weather pressure.
1757 Zulu. Wind 130
I prefer to set this to marker.
Light rain.
Alright, so let's go back to clearance. Alright, let's try to request clearance. So we're at gate F34, F30. What gate are we in? Let's see if I can take a good look outside. See if we can find that gate number. If this is like real life, then Stockholm Arlanda Airport Administration, you need to give pilots their gate number on the gate themselves. F38, F36, there it is, right there. It is there, I just wasn't looking in the right direction. Alright, so F36. Now again, I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll try it anyway, and send. Let's see. Sending. Send. So what I just tried now was to get CPDLC, to get departure clearance via data link. Meanwhile, let's take a look outside. Plane's loading. You can see the weather isn't inviting for a flight, but there's 777. There's a Norwegian 737. There's an S. I was looking when I started the live stream. There's an SAS aircraft stuck. Well, it's not stuck. It's inside the hangar, SAS hangar, which is pretty cool. So you can see the cargo loaders are just about finishing. All right. Let's see if we got a message in. Meanwhile, let's perform the pre-flight checklist. So let's test our... Oh, there's a clearance. We got clearance. Oh, no, of course not. Rejected. So that means that the system isn't connecting correctly. Well, this does work with VATSIM because I'm using Hoppy network. So if I don't get beyond ATC network, this will never work. But it was a good try anyway. So let's test our oxygen masks. Something we don't do on the Airbus. I mean, we do, but it's part of the memory items. Betsy, can you press your button? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just pressing the panel there, not here. All right. Every oxygen panel has been tested. The flight instruments. Let's set up our 10,000 feet, and let's leave it at that for now. And we have just set up all the instruments. We got our parking brake. We'll set it right now. So it's a pull system. Checklist complete. Let's go back to normal checklist. So before start checklist, we'll run this in a moment. So let's go back to our comms. Yeah, so we need to revert to voice. No big deal. So we can still use the data link for other stuff. So one of the things I request is ATIS. Let's request ATIS for Arlanda. So ESSA BAMO, and let's request via PMDG and auto, and let's send. So this usually works. So we'll see if it does work. Let's program our Betsy FMC as well. So we still need to confirm our flight with ATC. You can see that N1 is blinking. Don't know why. Looks like a small issue. No big deal. Let's confirm we got any new messages. What's it? Oh, it's print. All right. Well, new message. So we got information Zulu. So we just need to look at this data. Temperature is 16, not 18, like previously stated. QNH 1003. That's what we got, correct? Yep. And we got 5,000 visibility for 5,000. Clouds broken at 800 feet. So nothing serious, but we are getting some drizzle. So it's raining. It's raining, all right. All right, so now let's call clearance, and let's ask them for IFR to Lisbon.
Euro-Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy, ready to copy IF.
I love your voice, Betsy. Your voice is so good.
Euro-Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy, Arlanda delivery. Expect runway 19 right. Patev 1 Golf departure. Squawk 1066.
All right.
Peak 1 Golf departure. Squawk 1066. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
All right. So the route is loaded, but it's
Euro
not loaded.
37 X-ray heavy. Read back correct. Contact ground 121.705.
We need to
When
load
ready
now.
for pushback or engine start.
Now it's uploading.
Ground 121.705. When ready, Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
All right, route loaded. So let's go to the legs, and now we got the route correctly loaded. So let's go to departure now, and let's copy in what clearance gave us. So we are going to take off from runway 19 right, the same we landed actually, and we're going to use Pete 1 Golf as departure. Pete 1 Golf, there it is. We go back to legs, and we're going to confirm we got no discontinuity. Doesn't appear we do. And right here on the flight, we can see that we're going to look at the chart in a moment. But before that, now that we got our runway, we can now make the correct calculations. So here's our derated. This is what we need. Sorry, let me reduce the sound. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. All right. So we need to go into the VNAV, and sorry, not VNAV. We need to go through the initial, and we're going to input the status. So we're going to take off with flaps 5. Our CG will be 26.4. We can also press the button there and it will calculate for us. There it is, 26.4. And we got the V speeds, but before we do the V speeds, we need to come back here and we're going to go for performance, thrust limitations, and now we're going to insert our selected temperature, which will be 48 degrees. So what we're doing here is going to fool the engine, telling it that we got 48 degrees outside, which is not true, but this will provoke what we call a derated takeoff. Same procedure on all airplanes. So these are the V speeds, 137, 138, 149, and we'll just leave it at that. The runway is wet, so let's input that here, see if it, yeah, it's going to delete the takeoff speeds as per manual. Is procedure. We need to always reconfirm the speeds every time we change anything. So we got a wet runway, nothing serious, but if we do, the speeds will most likely be different. All right, so the pre-flight's done. We got all passengers in. We're pretty much ready, but we need to just take a look at the charts before we go anywhere. So we got the departure was Pete something something, right? So it was Pete 1 Golf. So let's search here for Pete 1 Golf in the SIDS. So where is Pete 1 Golf? There it is. So 1 Echo Kilo 1 Golf. There it is. All right. So we got Pete 1 Golf. This is our little plane in blue. You know the drill, you've seen this before, so we're just confirming what we got on the chart. So this is 1 Golf right here. Now it from Yankee to Zulu now. All right, so we're going to take off from runway 19 right, so probably this one right here, and we're going to make this route right here and go all the way to the PTF steer point or waypoint. And as I move my switch to 40, yeah, 40 will be enough. PTF is right there, so this is the correct path towards this. All right, we're going to accept this. In order to do so, we go back to our legs and we're going to activate and execute. So now the route is magenta and it's good to go. The route is active. We can also insert here our destination. So we just press index Lisbon, and now we're going to go through our flight plan and we're going to see what they reserved for us in this particular flight plan. So we need to go down here to routing. So we got Odemi, we got Inbom 2 Alpha. Odemi was for this one right here. Odemi 1 Alpha is for 9 Alpha is for Faro alternate. Inbom 2 Alpha to runway 02. So let's just do that. Inbom 2 Alpha ILS 02. We can change this mid-flight if needed. Transition via PSEX. So we now have the full flight loaded in, and it's good to go. So we just need to take a look at progress. This is the amount of fuel we'll be landing with in Lisbon, which is a bit too much, 30 tons. I mean, it is what it is. It's probably, there's a lot of stuff that goes into planning these flights. So this could be very well alternates, and as well as ETOPS fuel, all that stuff loaded in. This is a very big plane. It can handle 30 tons on landing, no big deal. But if you want to be very specific, you can just go into the EFOB prediction right here. So expected fuel on board or actual fuel on board. The cost index is pretty dramatic, 165, but whatever. And yeah, so the block fuel, the necessary fuel for the entire flight is just 36,000 pounds. Don't know where this all this fuel comes from, but yeah, it is what it is. We can actually reduce it, of course, but so we can cancel this message, by the way. Just press this button here and just cancel it, move it away. It's not even relevant for now. One thing that you need to pay attention is that the messages you request, for example, for ATs, digital ATs, they will not appear here on the upper ACAM. They will always appear on the COM menu itself. So let's go back to the checklists and let's start our APU. We got everything loaded in. APU starts in a very different way on this aircraft. It's a turning knob, so we just turn it in, and now the APU will start. In order to feed it, the pump on the left pump 1 will activate on its own. So you see, the button is not in, but there's no press light. Press light indicates there's no pressure, but as you can see, the press light is off. Now it's pressurized because it's automatically feeding the APU systems. But we're going to turn on the pumps, of course, because next we're going to start the engines, and we need those engines to be properly started. We can also already turn all the hydraulics into auto, but not the primary ones for now. We need to do that as the engines come alive. All right, so we got anti-ice on auto. We got all the lights correct. Now all we need to do is wait for the APU. Of course, we need to arm the seatbelt signs. Forgot that. And the ADIRs are on. So this is the 777 overhead panel is no light operated. So if you see a light, amber or green, it means it's not working as intended. For example, in this case, we got the external power turned on, so the plane is dependent on an external unit. But anything magenta, anything amber, that's the right color, is just abnormal, and whatever it is, you need to address it. The normal operation of this overhead panel is all non-white, or in this case greenish lights. Anything that's not white or greenish, it should be addressed. If the normal operation is everything white or green, looking up. So it's a good rule of thumb. All right, APU is operational, so now let's request our ground team to move the equipment out of the way. Let's see if this works. Beacon on. Let's see. Will the systems clear? Nope. So I don't know what triggers GSX ground operations with the 777, but so let's turn on the wing. We're gonna have to request it manually, and as usual, we go through the GSX menu. and request prepare for push and start. So disconnected the ground power, we no longer need it. We're going to go here through the ground operations menu, ground connections, and we're going to release the air conditioning first. And now we are going to release.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Thank you. We are also going to release the ground power, no longer use it. No longer need it. And we got the parking brake set. Here we do. So we're going to remove the chocks. All right. So always confirm you remove the chocks. You have the parking brakes set first.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
So the bypass pin inserts. As that tug moves forward, I'll request a push and start. Never before that, otherwise we'll clog anything that moves behind us on the taxiway. So the tug's connecting. So let's bring up, oh, it's already here, before start checklist. So let's just turn on our FPV.
Locking gear.
Alright, let's request push and start.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Gate Foxtrot 36 right. Request pushback and engine start.
I hope PMDG in the future can integrate GSX a lot better.
Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. I'll land the ground.
Face north.
And engine start approved. Face north.
So let's move this here.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face north.
Continue
Euro Atlantic
pushback.
37 X-ray Heavy.
So north is to our left. So nose left, tail right.
Release parking brakes.
Alright, in the Boeing, not in the Airbus, you just release parking brake by pressing the brakes. There it is.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wheel.
Right, just starting. So start procedure is pretty standard for all planes. Start number 1. You hear the bleed air turning off. Inject fuel. This plane has a FADEC system. You don't have to wait for any particular timings. You can also go through engine. So you see the engine starting. I know I didn't run the before start checklist, but I will as I move in.
Zulu Lima, Papa Alpha, Yankee, Yankee 10.
So the nose is going to turn left, apparently.
Runway 19 right taxi via Delta, Zulu, Zulu Lima, Papa
Actually,
Alpha,
no.
Yankee, Yankee 10,
We should have turned the other way.
2126.
We're going to have to make a U-turn. It's my bad. There's no exit here. Always something. Hello, Mirsha. Great to see you, man. Thank you for coming. All right, let's go through the before start checklists before I forget. So, flight deck door is closed. MCP speeds were set up. We got the takeoff speeds also set up. CDU pre-flight trim set to neutral, and taxi and takeoff briefing. I already talked to Betsy before you guys show up, so before the taxi checklist will come next. Right, number 1 is on. Let's switch on number 2. Start. That switch I just flipped on the overhead will flip to off or normal, that is, as soon as the engine starts. So it's an automatic system. You don't have to press anything more. Engine number 1 is already on.
Parking brakes.
Parking brake is set.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Welcome. Starting number 2. Let's go back to engine. So doors are still on manual. They will go through auto with the ground crew. Alright, switch back to norm. Good engine starts. Let's go electrical hydraulic system to on both engines. Let's confirm we got good duct pressure in. Let's turn off the bleed air from the APU and turn off the APU and turn back on the light. Remember, the idea is to keep these amber lights turned off. There's no point, there's no danger of leaving this button set to on, because the system is automatically shutting down that duct. All right, so now we have an issue because we pushed back to the wrong direction. But still, we're going to tell the GSX guys we're good on the engine start.
You can disconnect.
And request taxi to runway anyway. Afterwards, after they clear everything. So we have to start checklist now. Oh, we got it. That's a good one. So I manually opened the door, if you remember. So the door is still open. I need to close and arm. No, just press close all.
Unlocking gear.
Little quirks. Alright, so now we're going to arm all, and all doors are armed. Doors on auto. So we got checklist. Abnormal checklist was complete, which is good. So before taxi checklist, NTI is not required. Recall has been checked. We're going to set the auto brake to RTO. Flight controls. Let's set up to flight controls. So we come up here and we go FSLTL. The tug has been disconnected. Full deflection left. There's our guy with the pin on his hand. Neutral. Full deflection right. Neutral. Full pitch up. Neutral. Full pitch down. Neutral. Full rudder left. Neutral. Full rudder right. Neutral. Flight controls have been checked. There's our pin. Thank you. Flight controls have been checked, and ground equipment has been cleared. Normal checklists. And now we go to before takeoff checklist, which is to set flaps 5. This is an automated checklist, so we just need to pull the flaps to 0.5. Let's do that. 1, 2, and 0.5. Now the flaps will operate, go into position, and you'll notice that the checklist will be completed on its own. But we need to turn around, so request taxi to the runway.
Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy, taxi for departure.
So we need to make a very nasty U-turn.
Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy, runway 19 right taxi via Zulu Quebec, X-ray, Zulu November, Papa Alpha, Yankee, Yankee 10.
Turn on track IR.
Runway 19 right taxi via Zulu Quebec, X-ray, Zulu November, Papa Alpha, Yankee, Yankee 10, Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
Alright. Turn on taxi lights. So I need to not forget to turn on the strobe lights, because on the Airbus it's an automated light, but not on this plane. I tend to forget that sometimes. So let's just make a U-turn like I said we needed to do. I mean, it's a big apron, so we got that working out for us. I just messed up planning the turn the nose to north. So this is nice. The ground vehicles stop for you, or not. Stand by. Are you going to stop or not? Those guys stopped. This guy stopped. Those two other guys, they were kind of adventurous. So I'm going to select my map here. You guys can't see. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What just happened? What's going on here? You guys saw that? I didn't dream this, did I? That was... I never seen that. What just happened? The plane just moved sideways. That was really odd. So remember, this is a very big plane, so don't turn into the taxi lane like you would with your car. You need to think that the wheel is behind you, and the wheel needs to be on that yellow line. So Betsy is already having doubts I can fly this plane. I can assure you, Betsy, I'm really good at this thing. I'm good at flying. I really like these orange gates, really cool. I was told, maybe it's not true, maybe the person saying was joking, but I was told they are orange because of the snow. Maybe it's just decoration. Maybe the guy was being a dick, but I mean, it would make sense to be visible with snow, to be a different color. So we got a cabin ready, which is nice. Passengers signs are on. Auto brake is set to RTO. We got calm because we received that early message. We need to clear that. It's not important. So we got flaps 5 and before takeoff checklist is complete already. So remember, I don't want to slip again. That was really weird. I wish I had like a replay system to see what happened. The plane just slid.
6 Mike Delta at gate 5. Request pushback and engine start.
I wonder if it was one of those cars. Like those cars are scenery. They need to stop for me, but maybe they didn't, and that's what caused the slip. Could be.
Pushback approved. Face northwest. Austrian 6 Mike Delta.
Got an Austrian plane coming out. It's always nice to have you here, Betsy. It really is. Thank you for coming. Alright, so need to focus here. Mercer is gone apparently to tell me to turn on the chronometer, whatever you want to say it. So let's turn on the weather system as well as for now just the weather system. Let's confirm the system is correctly set to weather and turbulence. We also need to confirm the transponder, which I did not, but I will in a moment. So they gave us 1066. We should already have it on.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Contact Arlanda Tower 118.505. Bye-bye.
So we're going to stop here. I'm going to turn on.
Tower 118.505. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Bye-bye.
Alright, let's hold here and on Yankee 10. So they already cleared the red lights for us, but we're still gonna stop because I need to set up the transponder here. Where is it? So let's go to TIRA, set to norm. Alright, looks fine. It's a little different from the ones in Airbus. So we just set it up to TIRA. I believe it's ready now. So let's call it in. I'm gonna voice this one. Are on the ground. Euro Atlantic 77 X-ray. Request takeoff. Runway 19 right. Not takeoff. Departure. Ready for departure. This is why you need to practice your ATC comms.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Arlanda Tower. Wind 140 at 19er. Runway 19er right. Cleared for takeoff.
All right.
Runway 19 right. Cleared for takeoff. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy.
Here we go. There's no planes incoming, no planes on the runway either. We'll confirm that in a moment. So for Boeing aircraft, the procedure is to have this screen blank, just in case you need something, you need to be called to attention to something with the engines. They will pop up here on the lower ACAS. So just leave it blank for departure. Alright, we're fully ready. Flaps is set 5 RTO. We got our speed brakes in. It's different from the Airbus flaps 5. Alright, so let's just put our chart here. So right here, no, right here, here it is. Alright, here we go. 50% thrust, throttle. This is a different plane. And now let's press this little button here for toga. I know it looks weird. It is weird. Whoa, I don't have LNAV or VNAV armed. It's gonna be something I did not do correctly.
V1.
Rotate. Positive rate, gear up.
Austrian 6 Mike Delta, ready for departure. Runway 19er right. Austrian 6 Mike Delta.
Speed check, flaps 1.
Runway 19er right. Line up and wait. Line up and wait. Runway 19er right.
We're flying hands because I got an issue here with LNAV and VNAV.
Arlanda Tower, wind 140 at 19er. Runway 19er right. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 19er right. Cleared for takeoff. Austrian 6 Mike.
We got some weather up ahead, nothing serious. Speed check, flaps up.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy. Contact Stockholm departure 124.105.
Contact Stockholm departure 124.105. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy. Stockholm departure Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy. Good evening. 3,800 feet.
I need to address this, guys. So why don't I have VNAV set for me?
Climb to flight level 190.
Everything's correct.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
I got climb, I got route, everything's correct. We got it. VNAV is correct. So why can't I just turn on my LNAV and VNAV? That was weird. I've never seen that. We should be able to arm LNAV and VNAV and then press autopilot in to activate. Alright, some hiccup. I'm pretty sure I've flown Airbus for a long time. Maybe I'm mixing things up, but I don't think I am. Alright, turn off taxi light. Should be already off. We'll just keep the landing lights up to 10,000 feet. I'll explain what I'm saying in a moment. Give me a second just to level things up. Of course, flight directors were off. That's it. So we're hitting the first plateau. The plane will now hit 10,000 feet and accelerate. So we got clearance. Do we have clearance? Flight level 190, yep. So let's go 190. I was distracted here. This is the co-pilot's job, by the way, to confirm MCP and all that while I'm trying to fly the plane. So I'll continue to climb. As you can see, there's weather outside. Landing lights to off, they're just blurring our vision now. Let's put this panel here. Alright, so after takeoff checklist, landing gear up and flaps up, landing check after takeoff checklist complete. Alright, let's go through the engine synoptics. Let's leave it there. We are past the cloud layer. Now we just need to climb to cruise. And this is where we're at right now. So currently we are flying still within Sweden, and as you can see here, we just left Stockholm metropolitan area. So let's go back to lakes. Yeah, the problem with during takeoff that I didn't have LNAV and VNAV arm is because my flight directors were both turned off. Again, this is something that you're used to flying on an Airbus, something automated. And when you come to a different airplane, you need to remember stuff works differently. So seat belts and no smoking signs are still on. For the time being, let's leave it there. Let's take a look outside with, oh, I forgot the clock. Every single time.
Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy. Contact Sweden control 118.0.
Contact Sweden control 118.0. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
So we're going through a different station. Let me go back in to get a new
Sweden
altitude.
Control, Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy. Passing flight level 170 for flight level 190 direct peak.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy. Sweden control. Good evening. Identified. Climb to flight level 400.
All right.
Climb to flight level 400. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
Let's go to 400 flight level. So 40,000 feet.
Island 412. Sweden control. Expect Nylig 2 November. Runway 19 right. Expect Nylig 2 November. Runway 19 right.
I don't know if you've noticed, but this plane climbs like a rocket. It's so powerful. These engines, it's also light, so there's not much cargo in. But still, it's a very powerful twin engine jet. It's a record breaker. If I'm not mistaken, the 777 still holds the Guinness Book of Records for the biggest engine for an airline. I may be wrong, maybe it's been overtaken probably by the A380, could be. But last time I checked was still the 777. Alright, let's clear that comm message we got here. So you can see here there's a message comm, so that means that we need to... It's nothing serious, I just like to clear stuff. I don't like to keep stuff. So yeah, we got two informations, so we need to cancel that. Cancel that, and now the comm is gone. So this is the way I fly. So we're going to check the hydraulics. So we need something in the vicinity of 3000 psi, so it's pretty close to there. As far as I know, the most recent planes, so like the A350, the 787, the A380, the future 777X, they will all operate in the 5000 psi. You might think, well, that's way too much pressure, isn't it? Yeah, well, it's not. These systems are designed to withstand such heavy pressure. The idea is, the more pressure you have on the system, the less fluid you need. So if you have a 5000 psi hydraulic system, you don't need as much hydraulic fluid as a 3000. Another advantage of having a higher pressure is the cables. The cables don't need to be that wide. They can be thinner. The same with the reservoirs. They can be smaller. Same thing with pretty much anything. The plane becomes lighter. It is said that the planes, the most recent planes, with all the new stuff they're using, like carbon fiber, composite and these kinds of ideas of pressurizing the system to 5,000 psi, it's said that the planes can be reduced by half the weight almost of previous systems in previous aircraft. So that's pretty cool. So we got to come in. So it's continuously updating ESSA because we set that on the manager. I'm not sure I can turn that off. Really, that's the information Bravo. So let's see. AT's requests. I'll insert now LP Lisbon Airport. And also request from PMDG set to Alto. Let's see if this overrides the previous instruction, because that can be pretty annoying. Alright, cancel this one. I don't know if you've noticed this, but look at that. We're already at 30,000 feet, and it's been what? More or less than 10 minutes, because we forgot to load the clock. So new message. So this is Lisbon already. So this is the weather at Lisbon right now. So surface wind 350 degrees, 10 knots variable. We got visibility KVOC, but we do have clouds at 2,000 feet. Temperature 23, dew point 17, QNH 1022. So apparently Lisbon runway is dry. We'll see.
Roger, thanks for that. Keep us posted if there are any changes.
Oh, someone's running a Mayday fuel? Was that it?
Spinnaker 528, LTOC 3 November, runway 19.
I missed that. Did you guys hear that? I think there was a guy asking Mayday fuel. I'm pretty sure Beyond ATC does not have emergency, so it was just probably one of those ATC quirks, like we need to divert now, or we need clearance now because we're running low, but not a Mayday fuel, because there is no Mayday. In fact, never call a Mayday in Beyond ATC ever, and there's a reason for that. The way they said it, it kind of scared me a bit, to be honest. The way they said it was, Beyond ATC does not recognize Mayday calls, period. But if you do, they will be alerted and they may revoke your license. I kid you not, they said just what I said. They may revoke your license if you ask for Mayday. Don't know really why, probably something related to the way ATC works with AI, and if you work with a Mayday, maybe it messes up their algorithm. I'm not sure what the reason is, but it's a bit scary to know. They said that in their Discord, never ask for Mayday. If you do, you could see your license revoked. Pretty scary. So again, as usual, I will accelerate time. So let's clear this. I'll accelerate time in a moment so that our flight can be shortened. This should be something like a 3-hour flight, maybe a little less because we're flying higher and faster. But as an Airbus A320, which usually comes from Stockholm to Lisbon, but actually we can see the exact time this flight would take normally. So we departed more or less at 1850, something like that. So we're arriving at 2241 Zulu, and that would give us something like 3 hours and 40 minutes, a little less than 20 minutes. But we will time accelerate this, of course. And look at that. We are more or less 15 minutes out of the airport, and we are already reaching the top of climb, which is 40,000 feet. This is a huge performance plane, and it's designed to be like that. I mean, these engines are very, very powerful. As usual, we'll make a walk around the cabin. This plane has a very cool cabin, first class, and I believe it's two classes, so I believe it's first class and economy, probably with premium economy, but we'll see. This particular paint job could have a different cabin, I'm not sure. So anybody guessing or wondering more like it, how different is to fly? Oh, I'm sorry for the yoke there, Betsy. It's running through your leg there. How different is flying, let's say, the Boeing 777 compared to the to an Airbus like the A350, for example? And before I explain that, let me just tell you that the plane is leveling at 38,000 feet. This is normal. It's doing a step climb. So we are cleared for 40,000 feet, but if you come here to VNAV, you'll see that the step is to 4,000 feet, or for flight level 400, but it needs to first go to flight level 380 because it doesn't have enough performance yet. It needs to burn some fuel in order to reach flight level 400. You see the optimal here? So this is the FMC calculating that our optimal fuel should be, oh, what's this? 50 hours total flight time. I just got an achievement for 30 hours flight time in Flight Simulator. That's cool. I got way more than that. I just got 50 hours on the Flight Simulator 2024, but I definitely have more than that in combined with all the simulators. But anyway, so the optimal is to flight level 393, and it will not jump out of that step climb until it can calculate that its optimal is for flight level 400, and that's going to happen right there. You see that S/C, that's where the computer decided it will continue to climb to flight level 400. So this is all done for you automatically, but of course the pilots can override. I can just press that button again and it will just override and climb directly to flight level 400. If the ATC commands me to do so, I may do it, I may force it, but if not, I'll just let the plane do its thing because it's helping me save fuel. Because it's going to require a lot more power to come to flight level 400 if it's heavier. And if we can burn a little fuel to make it lighter to reach that optimal altitude, then it's preferable. So once more, we are waiting for that to happen so we can achieve cruise, and when that happens, I can just turn off the seatbelt signs for now. So we're just left with no smoking, that's correct. Then we'll go through the cabin a little bit, and then I'll time accelerate all the way to Lisbon. Coming up on the step climb to 40 flight level 400.
Runway 04 left. Report ready for descent.
Dive M5 Bravo, runway 04 left, ready for descent, Finnair 7 Bravo.
Alright, there we go. It's going to continue climb to flight level 400 now. And the reason why it's so cautious, you see it's slowly climbing. The reason why it's so cautious is that we don't want to hit a brick wall in terms of performance. The plane is really calculating its optimal climb rates in order to reach that optimal altitude. You can override it and it will fly this regardless, but you just want to make sure that you don't mess up your flight and spend way too much fuel. So you can see that the climb rate is ever so slow. An airliner pilot once told me that ideally you would want all your flights to continuously climb, reach an apex, and then start descending. Unfortunately, we can't do that. We need to set ourselves into a cruise altitude for safety and for separation, for traffic separation. But ideally, in terms of performance, the plane should continuously be climbing and then reaching an apex, start descending. Ideally.
Descend to flight level 120 with Air 3 Zulu Papa.
So we're still waiting for the performance to reach.
Sweden control, Austrian 6 Mike Delta. Flight level 169er.
Yeah, it's still not.
Austrian 6 Mike Delta. Sweden control. Radar contact.
It's weird because it's already recommended 400, so I don't know why
Climb to flight level 350.
it's not going up there.
6 Mike Delta.
It should be climbing already because we passed the point of the performance point. So you got another comm coming in. We'll address that in a moment. So I'm just wondering
Control, Discover 1472,
why it's not climbing.
340.
Well, let's press it again to see if it goes.
Discover 1472. Sweden control. Radar contact.
Now it goes. As far as I remember, this used to be an automated system step, but maybe it's not. I believe that I only needed to press that button to override, to continue to override the step, but maybe no, maybe not. Maybe we do need to press it. So it's been a long time since I flew the 777 frequently, and I do not have any SOPs on the 777. Never had them. I do have for some Airbuses, so I have for the 320, the 330, but not for the 777. So I can perceive stuff between Airbuses because they're so similar. So if I have the SOPs for the 320, I can easily perceive what to do on the 350, but the Boeing is a whole different ballpark. So it's a different monster, a different plane. It's a cool plane. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying that procedures are different. And this is also a good demonstration of how pilots only fly one air type at a time, because you can easily mix stuff up. If you're flying an Airbus for a living, and then all of a sudden you need to shift to a Boeing, you really need some training. You need to focus, and you need to forget what you know about flying. Really relearn how to fly, because if you go in with an attitude that you can fly them both, like I'm doing right now, you will definitely run into stuff that looks similar, but it's not really, and stuff that's completely different. And you're used to something, and then all of a sudden that something doesn't work. All right, now we're reaching top of climb. So in this case, I should have pressed the altitude button once more to come out of the step. And I just assume it was an automated system. The reason why ATC is louder today is because there are many levels of integration with third-party systems, all right? So for example, when it comes to GSX, you've noticed that this plane does not have a fully automated integration. None of the PMDG aircraft have it, by the way. And that's because other airlines, other developers of airplanes did that. So they integrated GSX to make it automated. So you press like the beacon light, and the system will start deboarding, or in this case, pushing back. This is an automation. Same thing happens with Beyond ATC. So Beyond ATC can control the radius, for example, which is something that is very useful. But not all companies integrate GSX the same way. So you got the basics for GSX, basics for Beyond ATC as well in this plane. So a lot of things isn't integrated correctly. GSX definitely needs to be polished. It has some weird issues, and it's not at all automated. It still requires manual activation. And when it comes to Beyond ATC, there's no data link integration, which is imperative in my opinion. And we do require some stuff to work automated, because we can't go back and forth looking into the programs. It would be too much workflow for one person, and it's already a big workflow for one person to operate this plane entirely. Even though I got Betsy here, but as you can see, Betsy, she's not talkative. She's never talkative. I'm sorry about the yoke, Betsy. So, can you take over while I take the people into the cabin right now? Can you? She doesn't talk. All right, so let's go back to the cabin. Let's visit the cabin. So here we go. Try not to mess with my yoke. All right, let's open the door. Door is on the left. Usually the door is right in the center of the cockpit, but on the 777 is on the left, on the right side. Well, left if you consider looking at the plane while you're entering. All right, not a lot of things are interactive, so you're just going to have to cope with it. So this is the cabin, pretty cool cabin. As you can see, there's a Saudi symbol there. That's because this plane is belongs to a Saudi company. Let's go through here. So this is the first class. This is probably, yep, another part of the first class, or maybe this is just executive, and then probably 3 classes then. Yeah, and this is the executive. All right, so 3 classes. So, and now comes the economy. There it is. Big economy class. I mean, these seats look pretty basic, but they're very comfortable. But still, during a big long haul, I would never ever take anything but executive or even first class. It's expensive, but then again, flying is expensive overall. And if you can save to go to fly in a little better quality, you should. Not sure if this works, so let's take a look. Nope, nothing works, just for show. Still cool though. And yeah, so right now I'm going to take us back to the cockpit, and we'll time accelerate to our destination. All right, so we're back in. Now let's time accelerate. How do you do that on this plane? Yeah, pretty cool. Well, they have a feature here. You can see here, sim rate. Just press auto cruise, and now you go up to 4 times. So let's do. We can also pause on top of descent, which is quite helpful. So let's go 4 times now. And as you do that, look at the clock. The clock turns red to remind you that you're in an abnormal time compression. You can easily press it again and go beyond that, but it's not recommended to go beyond 4 times. So it's the maximum is up to 4 times. So if you want to go back to normal, just press the reset button. Back to normal. Let's go to 4, and that would place us in like Mach 4, something like that, or Mach 3.9 or something like that. So we're going awfully fast. I'll take this chance to remind you guys that if you want to fly in style, I still have that FS Labs key to give away. So if you want the Airbus A321Neo in your hangar, I still have that key to give away completely free for both Flight Simulator 2020 to 2024. So all you need to do is just help me reach 100 subs. We're not that far anymore, so we're at 30 subs to 100, so pretty close. As well as come to my chat and just tell me why it should be you winning that plane, and I'll pick a winner. Of course, I need to reach 100 subs first, but after that, I'll just pick a winner and announce it in one live stream. And the key is completely free. You can activate it on both FS 2020 or FS 2024, and regardless of the simulator you got, by the way, you can activate it right now on 2020, and then later if you get 2024, activate it there, or if you wanted to go the other way around, the key works for both simulators, not just for one. So there it is. Also, if you want to help the channel, you have on your upper right, oh, by the way, regarding the FSL A321Neo, if you want to know more, on the description you can read all about, and there's a small video explaining what I just said. But if you want to help the channel, remember, you can buy me a coffee. All you need to do is just to either read the QR code on your upper right screen, or if you wish, you can also read the description. There's a link directly for the Buy Me a Coffee page. You can donate whatever amount you wish, but you can also subscribe. I have 3 tiers of subscription. Right now they're a little experimental, but I guarantee you that whatever it is that you wish to contribute, it will be well used to buy more add-ons, more sceneries, more airplanes, so we can have more content for you guys. I already have a few subscribers. I have to thank today. The latest subscriber is Jose from Airport Wings. Thank you so much for your support in Buy Me a Coffee. Remember, YouTube doesn't monetize small channels like mine, so I need to resort to third-party entities, and Buy Me a Coffee is one of the best out there. So I thank Buy Me a Coffee for allowing me to have an we're just switching to Copenhagen. We're flying over Denmark, by the way. I can show you there. Guys, right there. So this is Denmark right here. You can see here it's Copenhagen. Sorry about these. We can remove that for now. So this is Denmark right here. So the black is the sea. So we're flying over Copenhagen right now, and then this is one of my future destinations, Aarhus, and I really do intend to fly there. Thank you, Jose, once more. I intend to fly to Aarhus. It's one of the airports I flew to. I flew to some airports in Europe. I also intend to go to Schiphol in Amsterdam. Frankfurt I've been already, but I want to return there. Berlin, I flew to Tegel, Berlin Tegel, but I can easily go to Nuremberg if needed.
Continue descent to flight level 380. Yellowtail 3265 heavy.
Yellowtail, that's cool. Cool name for an airline. Yellowtail. Who's Yellowtail? Well, I'm intrigued now. Let me investigate here real quick. Who's Yellowtail? If anybody knows, let me know in the chat. Who is Yellowtail? Alright, let's see who's faster, you guys or me. So, I'm searching online. Yellowtail call sign. And Yellowtail is DHA. Who's DHA? DHL? Is that it? Yeah, it's DHL Austria. DHL Yellowtail. That's I didn't know that. Is it Yellowtail when they fly to Lisbon? DHL, the 757 and the 737? Because those fly for ASL, if I'm not mistaken. It's the first time I've heard Yellowtail. It's cool. It's really cool. It's probably born out of a nickname, if you think about it, because it's yellow. So let me turn on my track IR, because now it looks absolutely bonkers. All right. So we're cruising now at 40,000 feet, flight level 400. We have time. I'm sorry about the ghosting effect. It's the LSS being the LSS. It looks really nice. That's the way it is. You can see how fast we're going with time acceleration. Look at the blinking strobe lights, or anti-collision lights. You know,
Contact Bremen radar 125.1.
let's go to Bremen. Going to
Atlantic
German
37
airspace.
Heavy.
You can say whatever you want about PMDG, and you're right when you say that PMDG is stuck in time, like they're developing planes they already had, like porting them to the newer simulators. That's true. They cannot escape from that fact. They are building new aircraft now. The 737 MAX is a brand new plane, but every other plane they brought to Flight Simulator has been a port from MFS 2020, from Prepared 3D, and before that FSX and FS 2004. 737, 777, 747, they've all been ports. Even the DC-6 is a port. But they are building now the brand new 737 MAX. And you're right if you say that they just port planes from simulator to simulator. Well, one thing you cannot deny is that they build their planes very, very well. Some of the stuff here is clearly ported from Prepared 3D. I think that the textures, especially right now at night, you can't really see, but during the day, I think you'll notice that the textures could be a little bit better. And let's make it more romantic for Betsy and I here. Reduce the lights ever so slightly, just to be more comfortable, I suppose. I'm joking. Anyway, whatever you want to say about PMDG, honestly, I think they still make pretty decent aircraft. In terms of modeling the systems, they know their Boeings, and I don't think there's anybody out there that makes Boeings better than they do. They have a lot of pilots as reference, as SMEs, subject matter experts, and I think that helps a lot. So quite different to have a real-life pilot telling you how the plane behaves than just reading a manual, that's for sure. All right, let's clear that comm message there. We can take a good look at Lisbon arrival information, by the way. So we got wind is still mild, clouds still mild, QNH still 1222, I'm sorry, 1022. Nothing serious, so we don't need this information right now. We'll be needing it in a moment. The real life 777 has not this version, but the 300 has a little button here for the cameras, and it's imperative to use the cameras for taxi because the plane is so long. It's not a matter of wingspan, actually. It's more of a distance between the axes, so it does need to be taxied with cameras. There's no way for the pilots to really predict where their rear end undercarriage will be when turning. So this plane, the 200 variants, none of them have cameras, but some airlines do have cameras outside. As if you know your flight simulators, you know that Flight Simulator 2024 never had external cameras, and that's a shame. So guys, I'm going to make a very brief pause. The plane will keep on flying. I'll be right back.
Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Contact Amsterdam radar 119.175.
Contact Amsterdam radar 119.175. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Amsterdam radar, Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy, flight level 400.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy, Amsterdam radar, identified.
Amsterdam radar, City 66 Bravo. Good evening. Flight level 151.
City 66 Bravo, Amsterdam radar, radar contact. City 1715. Contact Brussels Control 125.0. Have a good evening.
Contact Brussels Control 125.0, City 1715. Have a good evening.
Amsterdam radar, Ryanair 78 Quebec Alpha, flight level 359er. Ryanair 78 Quebec Alpha, Amsterdam radar, identified. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Contact Brussels Control
Control 125.0.
Center on 125.0, Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Brussels Control, Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy, flight level 400.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy, Brussels Control, radar contact.
Brussels Control, KLM-79 Bravo, flight level 350.
KLM-79 Bravo, Brussels Control, radar contact.
Brussels Control, Alpine 18 Yankee Lima, flight level 360.
Alpine 18 Yankee Lima, Brussels Control, radar contact. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy, contact Paris Control 126.475.
Center on 126.475, Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Paris Control, Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy, good evening, flight level 400.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy, Paris Control identified. Air Hawk 57 Juliet, contact Brussels Control 125.0, bye-bye.
Contact Brussels Control 125.0, Air Hawk 57 Juliet.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy, contact Paris Control 118.05.
1, 2, 3.
Center on
There I am.
11.05.
I was speaking for a lot of time. I've been speaking for like 20 minutes, not 20 minutes, but maybe 10 minutes speaking on my own. I thought you guys were listening. Sorry about that. The microphone was off.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy, Paris Control identified.
Yeah, thank you, Jose. Thank you for letting me know.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy.
So the microphone was physically off when I took my break, and then I forgot to turn it back on. Sorry about that. So we're flying over Paris right now. And so this is Paris. can clearly see
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy. Flight
the
level
Parisian
300.
landscape. There's this weird monolith of light there.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy. Paris control.
Not sure what that is. It looks like a light projection, probably a monument or something, but it looks weird over the distance. A lot of these cities are enhanced, so most likely this is an enhancement that over the distance looks weird. So guys, if you just joined us, you can take a good look at your upper screen. You can see that we're about halfway. Time has accelerated by 4 times, so we're somewhere like Mach 4 in airspeed. So really, really burning the sky right now. We are over Paris, so we're over France. We did make a small detour. Our flight could just go direct through this line here, but we're making this small detour so we can be over controlled airspace and taking the controlled airspace lanes. So this is the main reason why sometimes flights are not straight. They need to go through some airways, and this is the case. So in real time, we're not in real time, in simulation time, we are at 2 hours in flight already. So this flight should take about 3 hours and a half, 3 hours and 40 minutes, something like that. But with time compression, we'll just reduce that time. Right now, we have passed the point of no return, so we have passed the midpoint, and we're still on our way to Lisbon. I keep monitoring the weather in Lisbon in a moment, making sure I don't get any surprises. You can see time is accelerated with the red digits right here. So guys, once more, if you guys want to win a completely free FS Labs A321Neo, make sure to read the description. You can find further explanation on how to win. And if you want to support the channel, remember you can buy me a coffee. There's a QR code on your upper right, and also a link in the description of this video. If Nightbot does its job, it also should share the buy me a coffee link in the chat. Apparently it did once, twice, so not bad. For those interested, although it's in the description, I'll repeat myself. I am flying Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and on board the PMDG 777-200LR. This is the latest of the 777s. It's also the least popular of the 777s, just so you know. It's the most recent variant of the 777, but it's also it kind of came to fill in the gap between the 200ER and the 300LR. So it's like an option for airlines that can't really fill a 300 airplane. So it's an extended fuselage. This is a shortened fuselage, but still want the range. Honestly, I think it's a victim of its own popularity. So the 200LR is kind of like a victim of its elder brothers, because Boeing was so successful selling the 200ER and the 300LR. The 200LR became a bit irrelevant. Some airlines still purchased it, but it's not as prominent as all the others because of the sheer size of the 300 plus the extra range, but also because the 200ER was already filling in that necessity for airlines. The biggest advantage of the 200LR is the extended range beyond the ER version. So ER stands for extended range, so it had a
X-ray heavy.
reformulated fuel system, went a little farther. You can go on Google and Google the distances these planes can go. The 200ER and the 200, well, the 200, the original 777 was already so brilliant in terms of range, but still they needed more range, so they went for the ER version, which had a reworked fuel system, reworked tank and fuel system to go a little further. It was so efficient already, so that's what I'm trying to say, that when the 300 came out with an even more extended range, it was kind of evident that Boeing had hit a wall in terms of what they could do. Still, they developed an LR, this one we're flying today, that has a few minor upgrades, but the biggest one is, of course, the long range. So you can have 2 extra fuel tanks as a aftermarket, I believe. If it's not aftermarket, if it's built with 2 more tanks at least, probably aftermarket. They will occupy space in the cargo bay, and the idea is that you can really extend the range of this aircraft even further. But if you look at the airlines list, it's way smaller. It's like catering to those airlines that want VIP kind of treatment, like the Middle Eastern airlines, like this one we're flying today. Although we're flying Euro-Atlantic, I'm flying this particular airplane that belongs to a Saudi Acme or wet leasing company that rents this plane to fly all over the world. And I think this is the market, the correct market for this plane, is that you want the same perks of the 777-200, just want to go farther. And again, you can Google and see the history of this plane, and you'll see that it's definitely... Oh, I just got notified again, Jose, probably mix up. It says here that you donated again. Probably not, probably just my cell phone reminding me of that. But anyway, again, that reminds me to thank you once more for your donation, Jose. Thank you. So we're passing through stations in France. Last time we flew from Paris de Gaulle and from Toulouse, you noticed that we exchange between stations quite a lot flying over France. They divide the air traffic control in several sectors. Did you double? Or was it just a reminder? Because if you doubled, you should have.
Volotia 2407, Brest control, radar contact.
I need to apologize for the upper information where aircraft should be. It has a big phrase there, ATC COM AC blah blah blah. That should be just B77LR, or the ICAO is B77L. That's it. But for some reason it's this PMDG. It's the only aircraft that does this. It's an error. I don't know if I can do anything about it. I'm sorry. So I see the views oscillating quite a bit. Don't worry, guys. I will land at Lisbon. You can just come in the last part if this part bores you. I apologize for that, but this is flying. It's 15-minute excitement and hours of boredom, to be honest. Even for real-life pilots. I can press this. Oh, now the entire pan goes up and down. That's nice. It used to be just the tip there. Now the entire pan goes up and down. Hey, can you see what I'm doing? So you're seeing. Just a little quirk. Let's see, what can I do here? So this little clipboard comes up and down. I believe there's a light for it right here. This is for the upper one, this is for the lower one. So the light is beneath this table here, so it's pretty cool. I don't think there's a shadow for it. Yeah, there doesn't appear to be a shadow, but anyway, it works. Same on the other side. There's also the infamous dome light called the storm light. Let's see how bright it can be inside the cockpit. It's a really cool feature here. I don't know if you can see it, but this light, that's a floodlight that illuminates this whole area, is behind the blinders. And there's a purpose for that, of course. These blinders allow to have a block in order not to blind the pilot when it's turned on. So you can see there's the only thing reflected right here is the MCP, so the cockpit, the autopilot panel. And you don't get blinded by that light. The same on the other side. So it's behind the blinder there, just to prevent being blinded by it. So infamous dome light called storm light. You can also regulate its intensity by dimming it. But the storm light is like that light you just drop your coffee all over your pants. You just need light to clean yourself up. You just press the storm light. There's also these smaller lights for the floods, panel flood, the intensity of the lights over the panel. What else can I show you? You can also control the brightness of the ACAS, as well as these two. They're controlled here, inboard and outboard display. What else? So we got this map light here for the map, just a light above. It's right over here. Just showing you guys. The clock is a clock feature, but we got the analog clock here. Well, there are certain planes that do not have the analog clock. You just press clock here and starts digital clock on the PFD. This is the PTT. So you have one on the yoke. I believe it's not this one. It's on the other side. It's a trigger button. Maybe we can see it here. No, we can't, but it's like a trigger button up front. That's a PTT, but if you wish, you can also press here. By the way, the headphones are connected here, right there. I think every single airplane in the aviation world connects the headphones up there. And yeah, there's an axe on board. It's right here. Yeah, it's pretty grim to see that here, but it is what it is. There's a nice cup. It couldn't be an American airplane if it didn't have a nice cup holder. There's one on each side, and those back seats also have each a cup holder. So Betsy, she likes the 777. She told me. She's not talking right now, but she did tell me. She's very concentrated. If you remember the last flight we flew together, she was looking around, all fine and dandy. But now she's just pressing your pens here. Can I press your pens, Betsy? It's not a innuendo. It's just literally pressing pens here. One day we'll talk. Clearly not today. So this PMDG has 3 FMCs or CDUs to control FMS, but this third one is not really for flight control or anything like that. It's just a backup CDU in a real life plane. In this plane, it's reserved for like maintenance stuff, fuel, payload doors, you know, the whole thing regarding operating the plane in terms of interactions. it does not have a way to verify the flight plan. So if I press legs, nothing happens because it's not connected to the FMS. It's fine. I mean, if you want to go fully realistic, first of all, the crew on a 777 is also composed of a third person, and this is the FMC for that third person. But regardless, if you really wanted to have the third FMC for redundancy, then yes, it's not working. It's not correct. Same thing with the upper radios on the Airbuses. Sometimes those that usually are sitting here, sometimes they don't work. Because it's an extra thing, they don't need to model for. So redundancy, it's important on a real plane, but maybe not for simulator. So this is another issue I constantly find on the PMDG aircraft, is this weird looking straight line coming out of the last waypoint. Usually when you have an infinite line like this, it's because we have a discontinuity, but I don't think we have one right now. Yeah, no discontinuity. We do have vectors to land though. So this may be the reason why it's it's 025, it corresponds to that. But that line needn't be there, to be honest. Not entirely sure. This is the vectors for the missed approach, but there is a missed approach procedure. We don't need radar vectors, or we shouldn't need radar vectors. So I think this is probably not correct. Probably. Maybe someone with a more in-depth knowledge of Boeing can confirm or deny it. So we're going to set up a few things, not everything. So we're going to set up radio altimeter to 200 feet. That's going to be our ILS decision height, radio 200 feet. We're going to check the weather for Lisbon right now. So 360 at 10. We can just use a simple one. So we got 360 at 10. We got 23 degrees Celsius, 17 degrees dew point, QNH 3024 inches. We need to convert this to... Actually, let me see if I have an option for that. I don't think I do. But, nope. Nope. No. Oh, probably here, right? Yep, there it is. So we need to pressure to HPA. Temperature is already in Celsius. So knots, feet, nautical miles. Alright, so save preferences. Can we change the theme? Alright, I don't have same intentions, so it's nice. Oh, it's the theme for the time of day. Alright, so let's confirm we got... Yeah, so it's already converted to HPA, hectopascal. So that's QNH 1024. So we are going to decelerate time as we reach before we reach our top of descent there. So a few more minutes. We're at 160 nautical miles, give or take. So guys, I don't want to be repetitive, but please understand my position right now. If you guys want to help the channel, you gotta buy me a coffee link on the description below, and you also have a QR code on your screen. QR code will pop up during the beginning of the stream and also at the end of the stream. You can hit the buy me a coffee page and just choose whatever you wish to donate, and then you will have the option to subscribe. Now that subscription mode is experimental for now. I'm trying to tweak it as best as I can, thinking what I can offer you guys in trade. So if you're not comfortable in subscribing, just in the buy me a coffee mode page, sorry, and just you have the option for one-shot giveaway. That also helps a lot, and I thank you in advance. Jose today has already been quite generous by offering me a buy me a coffee. So any proceedings will be used to purchase further modules, further add-ons like planes, scenery. I don't smoke, I don't have vices, I don't spend money on gambling. So yeah, the money is to be reinvested. And I've already spent a lot of money. I purchased every single plane I flew to this day. So the 737, 777, this one, all the Airbuses I got, and including the very bugged A350, all of them were purchased by me, and I didn't ask for sponsorship or anything. I do get some sponsoring, so FS Labs is, as you know, giving away that key for me to offer you guys, and there's another sponsor incoming with a new add-on. I will not disclose what it is. I want it to be a surprise, but it's a plane that, so that much I can say. It's a flying plane, it's a flying thing, and it's a plane that I really wanted to fly. And I may have mentioned it before. So there are a few planes out there that I really wanted to fly. If you guys heard me talk previously, you probably have 2 or 3 planes I mentioned before in my previous streams. And so it's one of them, and I was really surprised to be given that opportunity. I wasn't looking for alright, we're coming in for Lisbon Center.
Center on 119.55. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
So we know that there's some weather in Portugal right now, not very serious, but visibility is low.
Flight level 400.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy, Lisbon Center, radar contact.
So I know Jose is not on the spot to film my landing, so I can make it a heavy landing. You won't be there to film it, right, Jose? If you're still there. So as soon as the top of descent comes around, I'll call the passengers in, and not this evening. Did you ever stream at night, Jose? I think Flip did a couple of times, didn't he, in Lisbon? So if you don't know, guys, Jose is Airport Wings is one of the best, if not the best, plane spotter out there. He live streams from Lisbon Airport every other day. Let's come back to normal flight. Yeah, well, streaming at night in Portugal is not really safe, so there's that for you. But Flip did it, I think, more than once, as far as I can remember. So let's confirm our weather. So we got wind 340 at 10, variable. We got, well, the visibility is still KVOC, few clouds at 1500 feet, temperature dew 1, dew point 0.17. Now dew point is increasing ever so slightly, so that means we might have rain, maybe not just yet during our flight. QNH 1022. Let's cancel that, clear the message. Then we got another, it's still receiving Stockholm. So that's why you don't press auto, because you're gonna get updates every time. Yeah, it's not safe. If there was like a spotter station, and if they could guard it somehow, like a security team 24/7, but that's never going to happen in our country. All right, let's see. Did we get any clearance yet? No, not yet. This thing is also not working correctly. See that it's moving up and down so fast? All right. So no clearance yet to descend. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's like every single thing that is a hobby in our country is never taken seriously. Seatbelt signs on because we're about to descend. Let's go through our checklists. So we got our descent checklist. So we can make a recall. I had this trouble the other day. Where is the recall button? How do I recall the ECAM messages?
Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy, Lisbon Center. Expect inbox 2 Alpha, runway 02.
Alright, that's exactly what we had planned. 02 inbound to Alpha, accept clearance.
Expect inbox 2 Alpha, runway 02.
There it is, ECAM event recall. This button right here. Notes have been checked. Auto brake will be set to 2. Landing data, we got flaps. Let's do flaps 35, 137 knots. And Betsy here, she doesn't want to hear my briefing, so let's just say it's completed. So yeah, she really hates me, man. Anyway, flaps 25, 137 knots. That's our approach reference.
Contact Lisbon arrival 125.13.
So we got a new message. So the winds, information Papa, winds are still 9 knots variable. Nothing serious. It was 10 knots a moment ago. So it's still variable between 320 and 030. Visibility is still KVOC. Clouds view 5. Nothing changed really. The QNH increased though slightly. It's now 1023. We can actually set it up on Boeings. So you see where it says STD. That's not for sexually transmitted disease. That's standard. If we move the knob, you can see that we can preset. We can preset the QNH, so 1023. So when we press the steady button, it will already be preset to that setting. So that little white setting right there. When I press this button here, STD, it will be set to normal pressure, and the preset is already set to 1023. So we are coming up on our top of descent. We are at 20 nautical miles from it. As you know, I prefer to descend below performance on Airbuses, but on the Boeing, we really need to wait for a top of descent. It's not imperative, but it's better if you wait for it. So I'll just acknowledge, and we'll.
Runway 02. Call when ready. Euro Atlantic 37.
So I'll call it when we're about 10 nautical miles, something like that. When we reach that line, then I'll call ready for descent. So someone asked me the other day, why are you allowing your AI to answer for you? Well, when I fly a simplified plane or a small plane, yeah, I know. When I fly a smaller plane, I don't mind operating voice, but in such a complicated plane that's usually operated by 2 crew members, I really need someone to take over the comms or I'll be overwhelmed. That's the reason why. So I sometimes talk.
Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy. Descend to flight level 290.
All right, and we'll do that right now.
Descend to flight level 290. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
You'll see the plane will descend when it wants to descend. We can override it, but we're doing this by the book using the plane zone performance. So we're at about 5 miles, 7 miles from top of descent. Once it reaches a certain range, we'll have an E bracket on the right side here of the ND. That's the descent profile, and we'll just follow that descent profile. For now, we have just reset the MCP altitude, and we are waiting for the plane to decide to descend. And yes, the plane will decide. Again, you can override it, but let me tell you, sometimes the plane decides things better than you, so let it do its thing. As you can see, we have a lot of clouds in Lisbon. This is what I was expecting, and there's some weather. It's not rough. Winds are fairly okay, mild, but visibility is kind of crappy, so we'll see what happens. There we go. See the E bracket? Now the plane will follow that small diamond right there. So now, as you can see, we reached the diamond, and now the diamond will start descending, and we'll follow it anytime now. There it goes. So this is like, it's comparable to the managed descent on the Airbus, but on this plane it's called the VNAV, vertical navigation. Some people will reference Airbus with VNAV, but there's no such thing as VNAV on Airbus. I mean, there is vertical navigation. What I mean is that the term is not widely used in Airbus. We call it managed descent if you want to be technical, but technically it is VNAV, managed descent, I mean. So like I was saying earlier, I didn't conclude what I was saying. Airport Wings here is a plane spotter in Lisbon Airport, and you can follow him every other day. Plane spotting is kind of complementary to flight simulation because if you have a passion to fly, you will probably be like me. When I was a kid, I used to go to the airport fence and look at airplanes taking off and landing. I had the privilege to watch the 707, the 727, 747, and there was one 747-200 every day from Angola landing in Lisbon. I also saw the Concorde at least twice. I was very little, but I will never forget the roar and the sound. It landed in Lisbon a few times. And so my passion from aviation probably stemmed from there. And so I have a lot of respect for people that spend their mornings or their afternoons by the fence using a camera, filming planes. Kudos for you guys that have that patience to do that. And I can be at my home, probably in my flip-flops and my shorts, turning on my TV or my monitor, and there's someone out there probably in the rain or in the cold or in the heat filming planes for my pleasure. So thank you, Jose, for your work. And if you like plane spotting, I cannot recommend more that you follow Airport Wings. I don't follow many plane spotting channels, by the way, but I have the privilege to be friends with Jose here from Airport Wings, as well as Flip from another channel called Lisbon Airport Spotting. And I also follow a few more other channels, but Jose's channel is, in my opinion, if not the best, one of the best. So you see that we are missing that this managed descent bracket there.
Euro-Atlantic 37
That's
X-ray
because
heavy.
the plane
Descend
needed
to
to
flight level
obey
080.
to a constraint there.
Descend to flight level 080. Euro-Atlantic
So let's
37
go
X-ray
all
heavy.
the way down to 080. So the plane is following constraints, although you can't see them like we can with the Airbus. We can't see it like we do on the Airbus, but if we go to our legs, well, not our legs, but you know, the legs, you can see here that these are the constraints, and if there's anyone in magenta, that means that you really have to follow it. So yeah, and so wind data request, execute. So we're just loading the wind. The wind is coming from the west there. That's what the little W stands for. So there will be constraints. Currently there's no apparent constraint here right now, but there will be constraints as we enter the infamous approach that we can see here. Let's come on. Whoa, what just happened? Right, see the infamous banana-shaped approach. Bananas, Andrew likes bananas. So the banana-shaped approach, and as usual, I'll try to request a direct to over Ermel, although I fear that this plane is not as agile as an Airbus to do that, so I can't really, I don't know if I got a direct to. Let me confirm that, because it's been quite some time since I've done a direct to in this plane. Can I press, for example, this one? And oh yeah, I can. Yeah, all right. So we'll ask for a direct to out of Ernil to NetVO. So let's just clear this, and let's go to NetVO. There it is. So as we reach, there's something glitchy about these. I just saw something blink here. I was concerned we were offshoot or something like that. Offset, I mean.
Air Portugal 64 Mike. Contact Lisbon arrival 125.13.
What did I say? Why are you laughing, Jose?
Air Portugal 64 Mike.
Oh, the banana thing, yeah. Jose is laughing because one of our friends, Andrew, he often shows up in the middle of the morning and is working, so we know that when he shows up he's on his break, and invariably he says that he's eating a banana, so it's the banana break. That's where the jokes come from, the banana jokes. By the way, Jose, I saw your WhatsApp messages. I was going to reply, but I got entangled in something else, and then I had to do my live stream. So I will answer to you as fast as I can. So you see that the clouds are broken, but they're still clouds. So we need to treat them with respect. You might think planes can avoid terrain easily because we got something called EGPWS, electronic ground proximity system, but you would be surprised how many planes either crashed or came close to crashing by trusting they would figure it out. So when you see clouds, treat them with respect, because even today I was driving home and there was fog, and you might think, well, I know this road pretty well. Well, surprises can happen, so best pay attention to them. Yeah, I'm sorry for that, Jose, but I will answer it. Just give me some time. Maybe after I land, I sit down on my couch and I'll think about it.
Ryanair 2 Charlie Romeo. Contact Madrid Center 118.275.
Ryanair.
Contact Madrid Center 118.275. Ryanair 2 Charlie Romeo.
Either you love or you hate Ryanair, right? People that fly often, they don't mind, but if you want to do like a one-shot flight, let's say it's your honeymoon, and you get that Ryanair experience, I'm pretty sure you're not going to enjoy it. But if you on a business trip to somewhere like Lisbon to Madrid every day, or every other day, or every week, or every month even, Ryanair is fine. You just need to get there in time, that's all. But if you want a flight experience, if you're a flight enthusiast, forget Ryanair. Ryanair will never get you the deluxe passenger experience you're expecting. And not all airlines will do that, by the way. We live in a day and age when flights need to be cheap because airlines need to be competitive. So with that in mind, you will probably never get that deluxe experience unless you pay for it. So unless you go for either business or first class. And even in business class, I mean, airlines are coming up with all these different packages like Premium Plus or Economy Plus or Executive Plus, but whatever it is, if it says economy in there, don't expect deluxe. All right. So Ryanair is cheap, and just like if you're a car enthusiast, you know you'll never get a good driving experience from a cheap car. A full good driving experience from a cheap car, you know there's never going to be a deluxe experience in flying low-cost companies like Ryanair. And Ryanair is just one of them. And I think Ryanair is not the worst low-cost company, to be honest. But they're cheap, and you know they're cheap. So if you don't know what you're going for, and you're just looking at prices, you must understand that if you fly Ryanair, you're gonna have like it's like riding a bus. It serves its purpose. It sends you where you want to go, but you don't even get the peanuts, man. The peanuts are like 50% experience, I suppose. When I was a kid and I first flew, my first ever flight was on Airbus A310, so mid to long range plane, and it was a flight to London. And I was a kid. I was 15 or 16. So I mean, flying in an airline, because I had previously flown on Cessnas and small planes. And I'm back. So I kept watching films, and in the films they always bring nuts, peanuts. Back again, sorry. So, like I was saying, when I was a kid, I was to watch those films, and I saw the stewardesses or the flight attendants bring peanuts, and I thought, well, it's my turn to fly. So I was a kid, away from my parents for 2 weeks, and when I got there, of course, I went in economy. And when I got there, I just sat down and said, I want my bag of peanuts. And the flight attendant looked at me, a kid, remember, I'm a kid. And she looked at me and said, would you like a Coke with that? And I said, oh, hell yeah, peanuts and Coke, it's prime stuff. And she was joking, of course. She didn't have the peanuts or the Coke for me. So I waited and I waited and I waited, and finally had in-flight service. and she brought in my tray with that standard sandwich, I believe, sandwich and so a bottle of water. I don't remember what she brought. Nothing with what I asked. And I looked down, and I probably looked very sad. Remember, I'm a kid. I'm 16 or 17 or something like that. Very sad. I looked at the plate, and she smiled, and she thought I would take it well, like a joke. But no, I didn't. I was a kid, remember. And I remember that. A while later, not that long, but a while later, she came back and she had a little bag of peanuts for me. Not the Coke, unfortunately, but the peanuts she had. And yeah, so I thought I had a premium experience, even way back flying TAP Portugal on an A310. That wasn't the case. I got that shock treatment. Later in my flying years, I flew, I don't know, 10, 11 different companies, and I always lowered my expectations because I knew for a fact that it would never be what I would like it to be, and it never was. The only time I was positively surprised was flying SAS on their oldie MD-80. That was what a terrific flight it was. And again, in economy, I flew executive when I was working for this company, and they flew us in executive class. I never flew first class for sure. Most of the times I flew in economy, so I knew I would never expect anything positive from economy, and just thought of it as like driving in that bus I mentioned earlier. But there's Lisbon Airport right there. We're just going to go all the way down there and turn back. So like I was saying, lowering my expectations helped me a lot, enjoying my flights. And since I'm an aviation geek, I concentrated on everything else but the luxuries of flight. I concentrated on the plane, listening to the sounds, and it's very cool when you're an airplane enthusiast, when you hear those weird sounds on board and people get scared, you can reassure them, no, it's all right, it's just this and that. Especially on an Airbus, you get to have that barking sound of the PTUs operating. A lot of people will get scared for that. For some reason, I find it amusing sound, and I don't find it scary at all. But I get the chance to explain to people that it's just a normal thing. So let's look here. There's Vasco da Gama Bridge. That's Parque das Nações. Ponte 25 de Abril. Stadium of Benfica.
Contact Lisbon arrival 125.13.
Stadium of Sporting Portugal. Sporting Lisbon is right there.
Lisbon arrival, Euro Atlantic.
This is Monsanto Forest area. This is Cascais Bay. I used to live here not so long ago.
Good evening. QNH 1023. Expect the ILS runway 02 with the PSX transition.
We already had that. Insert PSX. I'm just waiting for us to reach 8,000 feet. We're probably not going to be able to request that shortening of the approach, but we can certainly try to request NetVio in one of these other waypoints as soon as we hit 8,000 feet, because we need to descend pretty quick to reach that. So we are at about, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes to land. Yeah. We're going to be landing at 22:37 UTC, maybe before that. Actually, we're behind. We're beyond schedule there. This is just expected time of arrival. So we're beyond that. We are delayed already. So we should have landed. We should have landed 6 minutes ago. So passing 10,000 feet, you know the drill. Landing lights on. We need to be as visible as we can. Sorry about that. I'm going to turn on my track IR. That's why I just let go of the mouse and it went nuts. Alright, I'm going to turn on my track IR once more for the landing phase. And here we go. So at this point we are just turning in to enter that banana-shaped approach. You can actually go to the chart and you can see exactly what I mean by banana. You could see it there, but it's just so I believe it's this one, 3 Bravo. No, sorry about that.
AG on 7 Papa Tango, 3 miles from Pesach. Turn right, heading 040, maintain 3,000.
It's this one, sorry. So here's the banana approach, and you can see here where we are. Then we need to so I'm going to try to request a direct to NIVUD, not NetView, and we need to go to NIVUD, so I need to correct that. We're going to go for NIVUD probably after Hernal or Relco, we'll see. So it's not NetView, it's NIVUD. Where's that NIVUD? There it is. Alright, so things work a little differently than Airbuses. So we need to reach 8,000 feet first. So let's just go outside and appreciate the wonderful view for Lisbon. Look at that. Still my favorite city. Shiny and bright. This is Cascais Bay. Beautiful Guincho area. This is Quinta de Marinha, where the rich people all live.
Air Portugal 64 Mike, 3 miles from Pesach.
So you can see how far we are getting out of the city. This is by design. So the traffic will be directed outside the city area, so it can be directed back in and follow a corridor instead of overflying the city like we used to. This clears traffic from the city and makes it less noisy. So we are at in flight 3 hours and 55 minutes of flight. We need to add an extra 5 minutes because I again forgot to load the chronometer when taking off. Alright, we are 8,000 feet, so I'm going to request a direct to NIVUD right now.
Euro-Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Request direct to fix.
Euro-Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Roger. Say fix name.
So, NIVUD. Where is it? Come on, come on, come on. NIVUD.
Request direct to NIVUD.
NIVUD. She says NIVUD. You got a beautiful accent there, sorry.
Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Confirm direct to NIVUD.
Yes, yes, yes.
Affirmative. Euro-Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy.
Euro-Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Roger. Clear direct to NIVUD.
Alright. There we
Clear
go.
direct to NIVUD. Euro-Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy.
So what I did is just I picked
Euro-Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Descend to 3,000 feet. QNH 1023.
I picked that waypoint forward
Descend to 3,000
and just
feet.
told it to
QNH
pull
1023.
the flight plan up
Euro-Atlantic
to that
37
point.
X-ray Heavy.
So that's why it was proceeding direct to NIVUD.
Euro-Atlantic 37 X-ray Heavy. Clear direct PASX. Cross PASX at or about
So now we are
3,000
clear
feet.
for direct to
QILS
PASX.
runway
So we'll do the same. Select PASX, transport it up, and execute.
Cross PSX at or above 3,000 feet. Cleared ILS runway 02.
So we are clear for the ILS, so we'll turn on our approach mode. It's armed, it's not turned on. So armed lock, armed glide slope.
Bye-bye. Contact tower 118.105, Air Portugal 64 Mike.
So on the Airbus, the speed drops first and we drop the flaps later. But on the Boeing logic, we will deploy the flaps first and the plane will adjust speed correspondingly. So I'm going to set flaps 1 and you'll see the speed bug descend. Speed check flaps 1. See, the bug just popped up, and as soon as I get there, this magenta arrow will also descend. The flap maximum speed actually is represented by these numbers in green. So as for the approach checklist, we got already our QNH set to 1023 with as soon as we go below the transition, which is at 4,000 feet, we'll hit the standard button, return to our calibrated altitude. Transition altitude is at 4,000, so we still have a long way to go. At this point, per my choice, I'm going to set my speed lower because I want to decelerate faster. So I press the button that brings me to auto throttle control. And as you can see, the speed is already reducing. This is a big plane, big drag, so it will decelerate a lot faster than an Airbus, to be sure. Maybe not as fast as a 380, but still fast. So we see the runways right there. So the wind is as expected, 14 knots. There are some clouds, some lower clouds, but I don't think the weather is being depicted correctly because the cloud coverage should be a little thicker, but it is what it is. All right, so let's hit standard, QNH 1023. And so our approach checklist is completed. And now we have the landing checklist. It's an automated system, so we don't need to worry about filling in the checklist itself. So, all right, let's go all the way down to minimum approach speed.
Lisbon arrival, Air Portugal 64 Mike. Good
Speed
evening,
check
1000
flaps
feet.
5. So
Air Portugal 64 Mike, welcome back. Continue.
it's going to turn at any time. There it is, localizer and glide slope intercepted. Beautiful Lisbon city. Never get tired of this view, to be honest. It's unfortunate that it's so expensive to buy a home there, but it's still the city I grew up in. So you understand why I need to come back every so often. Alright, let's go back to all the way down to the reference approach. So our flap reference is flaps 25, 25-degree flaps down.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy. Contact Lisbon Tower 118.105.
For those wondering, when do you turn off autopilot to land? It depends. Speed check flaps 10. It depends. Flaps 15, sorry. But I usually do that when I'm clear to land only.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy, Lisbon Tower.
Flaps 20.
Entry 55 and 9er. Runway 02 clear to land.
Alright, clear to land. So gear coming down.
Runway 02 cleared to land. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
We are at VREF. Flaps 30. Oh, sorry, flaps 25.
2500.
That warning was the config gear, so the gear went faster than the flaps, and so the plane was telling me that at that configuration I needed to gear down, but the gear was already coming down. I just got the green now. You confirm it here. So all I have is to do is arm the speed brake. Speed brake is armed, and landing checklist complete. All I need to do is just fly the plane, so I'll take over now. There's a slight wind from the left, so we might need to correct it to the right, but I'll just follow the flight director for now. Auto brake off, autopilot off, I mean. Just follow the flight director. Flight director is your friend. Flight director are those two magenta lines across. Just listen to those engines. Can see how much movement I make with my yoke. Don't worry, this is a fly-by-wire plane. It will not over-input, oversteer, or anything like that. No matter what you do, it's always the computers flying the plane. Trust the plane, trust the instruments. Flying an ILS approach is always about trusting the system.
1000.
1000 check. Trust the flight director. You might be tempted to look outside and think, I can do this. Don't. Just look at your instrument. You're flying ILS, you're not flying visual. Trust the instruments. Like Obi-Wan said, just look. Trust your instincts. No, that's the other way around, sorry.
500.
500 check. Little low.
400.
400 check. Little low. Light slope.
300.
300 check. Approaching minimums.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Land, continue.
Glide slope.
Glide slope check.
Glide slope. 100. Glide slope.
Long
30.
landing.
20. 10.
Come on. Here we go. Smooth. I didn't even hear the wheels touching. Reversers. Auto brake 2. Decel. Little to the right, not my best landing, but smooth as smooth can be. Auto brake off. Auto brake disarm.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy. Exit next available taxiway.
Exit next available taxiway. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
Alrighty. Runway exit procedures.
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy. Contact ground 121.755.
121.
Ground 121.755. Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
Alright.
All aircraft be advised information Charlie now current. QNH1023.
Oops. I think I just got attacked. What just happened? I'm sorry, What happened? What happened, Jose? I'm sorry. Nightbot just went crazy. Oh my. I need to I need to check my Nightbot settings. I'm sorry, Jose. What happened?
Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
I'm so sorry, Jose. Not my intention. Oh, the emojis. Oh, I saw that setting. I thought, should I leave it on? I think I'll turn it off. I apologize, Airport Wings. So, Uniform Golf 1, Uniform Tango and Golf.
Uniform 4, Uniform 3, Tango, Golf 1, Alpha 4, Euro Atlantic 37 X-ray heavy.
I'll tune that thing back down. No need to be crazy and eliminating people's messages. So this is the advantage of knowing this airport, so I know exactly where to go, but I'll still bring up the charts here for your viewing pleasure. So let's go to airport overview. Sorry, not this one. It's the airport, not this one. So airports. So I'm going to make a turn here. Stand by. I'm not going to make a single engine taxi for this plane. So we almost reach 4 hours. I mean, it's 4 hours set, but flight was a bit shorter than that, to be sure. Alright, let's turn our flight directors. We no longer need these. I'm sorry again, Jose. I will tweak that setting. Let me just go back here and give you the airport layout so you can see the taxiways. There it is. So what they told us to do was taxi via Uniform, now Tango, and now we are going to turn via Golf 1 to gate 142, which corresponds to where most of the times the heavy 777s actually go. I'm not going to take the wrong gate today because I know better now. So that's 141. So you can see the tiller moving here. It's pretty cool. Now there's gate 142 right there, well numbered. So you need to follow this bubble. And I hope it's not portway doing our handling. Let's make sure it isn't. Because not really in the mood for portway at this time of the day. Or maybe it is. I no longer care. Alright, let's take a look at our VDGS system. Waiting for it to turn on. There it is. Boeing 777, correct. So we're pretty well lined up. Just keep on moving, very slow, no rush. Stop. Parking brake set. Okay. Alright, lights off. We're good to go. So we got our APU. We're probably on the chocks. So engine 1 off, engine 2 off. Thank you, Jose. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your kind donation. And we'll see you next time. Probably tomorrow, right? Have a nice night of sleep. And thank you once more for being here. And thank you everyone for watching. Apologize for the Nightbot being too zealous, but I need to tweak that. Certainly need to tweak that. Alright, so we had covered this. Shutdown checklist. Hydraulic panel is set. Fuel pumps are off. Flaps. Oh, didn't pull the flaps up. So my bad. Parking brake is set, and the weather radar is set to off. So off. All right. Shutdown checklist complete. And we now have the secure. We're not going to perform that because we are going to. Well, let's perform the secure checklist. So Adiro set to off, and all these lights set to off, as well as the beacon. Let's leave the logo and the nav lights, and let's bring the passengers signs to off and emergency lights to off. Alright, and the packs will be off. So secure checklist complete. Alright. So fortunately GSX is not automated again, so request deboarding.
The boarding requested.
Here comes the jetway. Alright, welcome to Lisbon. The plane will now deboard and unload. You can see that Lisbon Airport is quite well populated today. No, not many heavies. They don't usually spend the night. And there's some weird glitches with Flight Simulator 2024. Again, these gates will not line up. There's something fishy going on here. Well, this one will, but the one in Stockholm wasn't lining up. There's something wrong with that that file for that airport. So thank you all for your kind presence. Thank you for the generous donors. Yes, ground power, please. Thank you for the generous. Whoa, why is it opening that door over there? That's odd. I appreciate everybody coming. I appreciate all your help. Remember, you can help this channel by pressing like and subscribing. You can also win an FS Labs A321Neo. Read more in the description. And if you'd like to help out, then buy me a coffee. There's also a description in the link in the description, as well as the QR code on your screen for your viewing pleasure. So one more time, thank you for coming. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your friendship. And I'll see you next time. And again, remember, I'm now in Lisbon. I'm going to need some suggestions to fly elsewhere. So feel free to make your suggestions. And I'll see you next time. Cheerios. Bye-bye. By the way, that door should never happen. Should never have opened. Something fishy here.
I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high. Climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dreams begun. The world below fades out of sight. as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun, no limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun, no limits when the drums begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the